Well, 2021 is almost over, so I decided, you know what? Why not share my least favorite movies of the years? This is my top 10 least favorite movies of 2021. Let's do this. Number 10 is Yes Day, starring Jennifer Garner. It's a Netflix film. It's predictable, bland, and insulting to parents everywhere because her kids compare her to Hitler at one point, and that's why. And I don't know, it's a dumb idea. It has like one good scene, but then the ending is terrible, so it kind of cancels each other out because they're both terrible. Number 9, How I Became a Superhero, another Netflix film. I believe it's German or French. Either way, it's insanely boring and deeply forgettable. I remember quite literally nothing about this movie except how stupid the superhero costumes looked. That's it. Number 8, Thunder Force, a movie that I did not hate as much as I was expecting to. Still wasn't good, though. Yeah. The comedy is pretty stupid, and some of the twists are like I was able to predict every single thing that happened, and that's not some like big accomplishment or anything, but it happened. I don't know. I don't like it. Number 7, Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans. I was looking forward to this movie. I really was, because the original Troll Hunters show, I think it's great. I love it personally. The other two shows in the franchise, Three Below and Wizards, are dumb. I don't really like them, but they're not awful. This is borderline awful. It's a disgrace, and it's a mockery of the original show. It dumbs everything down. It makes the protagonist Jim, who was great in the original show, into this whiny, angsty simpleton. And then it has like one good scene where a certain character dies. Then they undo that, and in undoing that, they undo the entire franchise. Okay, did they not think about the implications that could have? Because that's just think, Mark. Whatever. Okay, number 6, Home Sweet Home Alone. Funny that this is number 6. It's the sixth Home Alone movie, and it's not good. I haven't seen 4 and 5. I saw 3. 3 is much worse than this, but it's still a bad movie. I shouldn't feel bad about being amused by watching these two well-meaning but misguided people get beat up. But I guess that's what happens when you make the very simple conflict of Home Alone into a stupid misunderstanding that makes the entire movie pointless. This movie should not exist. If this couple had just thought, then none of this would have happened. They're good. I don't mind those two, but I'm not supposed to sympathize with people who are breaking into a 10-year-old kid's house when he's home alone. Speaking of which, I cannot stand this kid. I'm sorry. Look, I heard he was good in Jojo Rabbit. I haven't seen it, but I cannot stand him here. I really can't. Moving on. Number 5, Army of the Dead. Man, Zack Snyder's just good job on this one. You were able to take a movie, the story of which was Dave Bautista leading an elite team of people with great expertise in certain areas into a zombie-infested Las Vegas to collect a bunch of money for a businessman played by Hiroyuki Sanada. And you turned it into a boring schlock fest with really one-note and bland characters, like stupid attempts at emotional moments, and it feels so slow. It drags on forever. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It felt like it was 5 hours long. I do not like it. Number 4, Things Heard and Seen. A bizarre Netflix film it's weird. It switches genres and tones, like, very sporadically. It starts out as a horror movie, and it's not a horror movie, except for the first 45 minutes. It turns into something about, like, the husband cheating on Amanda Seyfried, and then religious corruption, and he goes to hell at the end. What is this movie? I don't get it. It's terrible. Number 3, A Week Away. Another Netflix film. It's boring, sluggish, and highly predictable. It has pretty dull acting, horrible songs, and auto-tune and lip-syncing that makes the Descendants franchise look like it's being sung live. Oh my god. It is a really, really bad movie, and I really don't like it. Number 2. What just happened here? I'm reading off of something here. A classic horror story. Yet another Netflix film. Incoherently edited and forgettably bland mess. That it's awful. The story is just boring, and the characters are all boring, and everything about it is boring. And then it gives us the single stupidest plot twist that I have ever seen in any movie ever. Like one of these characters who was being dubbed in the film, but nobody else was. I don't get that. Like, apparently he was filming everything so he could make his own horror movie? That's just... Why? But number 1. The worst movie I have seen this year. Sony's Cinderella. It's garbage. Absolute garbage. The story makes no sense because I guess the point of this version of Cinderella is that she's supposed to, like, do her own thing, doesn't want to settle down with a guy. She wants to make dresses or some crap. But at the end of this movie, what does she do? She settles down with a guy who is, like, really, really bad. I hate this guy. I hate him. Like, somehow he has a ton of screen time, and he has even less personality than the prince from the animated Disney one from the 1950s. He had 2 lines. 2 lines. The leads are both awful. Camila Cabello. Look, I saw a featurette of this movie in the theaters when I went to watch Shang-Chi. And she was talking so passionately about how she hoped young girls could look up to her character in this movie. And I'm sorry, I cannot stand her performance. It's really, really bad. Same with the dude who plays the prince. He's awful too. And the movie uses them plenty. And they sideline the only good talents that they have, like Adele Dazeem, according to John Travolta. That's her name anyway. And Minnie Driver, who can actually sing, in favor of having Camila Cabello sing the most generic and forgettable pop ballads that I've ever heard, and James Corden's floating, screaming head on a tiny little mouse. I don't hate James Corden, but when I went to watch Shang-Chi, I was sitting next to someone, and when we saw the featurette for this movie and James Corden's name popped on the screen, the person sitting next to me immediately said, well, I'm never watching that. Yeah. So, and, like, James Corden somehow is not the worst part about this movie. You know what is the worst part about this movie? The music. It's almost all terrible. Like, there's a Queen song in there. I love Queen. It's a great band. There's Material Girl by Madonna. It's a great song. The song by Queen is Somebody to Love. I love that song, but it's sung by this stupid Prince guy, so I feel mixed about it. The dancing is laughable. It's so bad. And the auto-tuning makes A Week Away look like it was sung live. That didn't make any sense, did it? No, it didn't. Whatever. It's the worst auto-tune I've ever seen. It's so bad. Plus, they have the nerve to put in a potentially clever joke, and they did at first, where Minnie Driver is married to Pierce Brosnan's character, and she's like, you're a terrible singer. She says something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, are they like doing a bit of commentary on how Pierce Brosnan's performance and singing in Mamma Mia was panned? That was actually clever. Well, I should have known. How could this movie just not make clever? Because guess what they have? Guess what they have Pierce Brosnan do in the very next scene? They have him sing! They have him sing, and he's so bad at it. I haven't seen Mamma Mia. I have heard. I've heard a couple like opinions on how he can't sing very well, and if this is any judge of that, they are kind of true, because he is not good in this movie at singing. I don't think he does a terrible job acting wise. In fact, he is one of the better actors in the movie, but he is not a good singer. And then he sings another song like 2 minutes later. It's the worst movie I've seen since the live-action Mulan. It's not as bad as the live-action Mulan. I should talk about the live-action Mulan sometime, but anyway, those are my least favorite movies of 2021. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below. Keep calm.